back, I'm Gertie Rude, back again, a Sunday mood. Well, here I am, I'm back, I'm going to review that. I hope you've all noticed that I've got a new channel going up. Well, it is up now, Rude Politics. I'll be uploading some politics on there later, and it will kick off in a larger way tomorrow. But today I'm going to do King Charles at the heart of a conspiracy. Oh, I do love a conspiracy, I really do. Prince Harry says security plot is to force UK return. God, his brain is absolutely mushed, isn't it? He's definitely took too much of something, or he's smelling his own farts. What is he banging on about now? Anyway, we're going to find out. Come on.
How they tried to trap me in the firm. Oh, here we go. The Duke of Sussex believes his police protection was withdrawn in an effort to prevent him and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, from leaving Britain to start a new life. He said this was a very difficult decision. It was difficult to swallow.
Sorry, David, to stop you. I think a prerequisite for going to court as an accuser is you need to be sane and sober. Now, it's no good going in there, or even pre-going in there, writing a load of old hooey and handing it to your barrister when you're as high as a flaming kite. Now, according to Barry, his security was removed to stop him leaving Britain. My days, it's like Papillon, isn't it? It's like that movie. Any minute now he's going to jump in the sea and swim away. He really is. Well, what happened? Oh, that's right, I remember he left Britain.
Said the king is at the heart of this conspiracy against him. Look, at the end of the day, you are not going to be a member of the royal family. You're not carrying out your duties as a member of the royal. So why were you paying?
You decided not to.
Because you decided not to. Ravek decided that you did not, therefore, need police protection.
Personal.
But you could have it on an ad hoc basis when you come back to the UK if you're coming back in a formal capacity. And
I'd say he probably has as much security as, say, Beatrice and Eugenie, that are, what are they? They're nieces to the king, granddaughters to the late queen, royal blood, they're from royal spermatozoa, you know, darlings. So I don't think they probably have a motorcade and outriders and this, that and the other, and people with guns and access to MI5 intelligence and all this old hooey. I bet they just go about their day with minimum of security, but obviously it's working quite well because they're both in their 30s, if not older.
Says that this was used as some sort of massive conspiracy to keep him and Meghan in the UK. No, it wasn't, Harry.
No.
It's sort of
Rubbish.
A bit of a break with reality, I think. I just think he just...
I think he does.
Look, with Prince Harry, I veer between getting very angry about him, the things he says and the way he's acted, and then actually just feeling really quite sad about it all, because, you know, for years he was... you know, the sort of people liked his personality. He seemed very warm. He had this sort of slightly cheeky, chappy.
Well, no, he had very good PR, and his what do you call it? His profile was managed. His public profile was very much managed. There was a lot of stuff. Yeah, you did get some pictures of him leaving nightclubs pissed up, but nobody cared because they all do that, and you often see that with celebrities, with Justin Bieber or any of them. I remember old Bjork in my day. She had a pop at somebody in the airport. I remember Diana having a pop at people in the airport that were trying to pap her when she was rushing to get on the plane. So there are those situations, and nobody takes any notice of them. But obviously there was a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes that was stage managed or hidden or spun in a different way, so it didn't really affect as much. And even like that one when he wore that inappropriate fancy dress outfit, I really do think that he was put in the paper because they could have stopped that, the palace. Of course they could have stopped that. The paper run it, I think, probably to draw attention over there because something was happening politically. So I can't remember when. I remember seeing it. It was in the noughties, wasn't it? The early turn of the century. So I remember seeing it, but I don't know what it was. But you bet your bottom dollar they usually do something like that. If something bad is going on politically, they'll throw a celebrity or a royal under the bus over here, so everybody's looking over there, not too much over there. That's what they do. It's a thing, you know, darlings.
Persona, you know, he has served in the armed forces. He, you know, has set up the Invictus Games and clearly cares very much, you know, about veterans and all of that sort of thing. And then, look, I'm not just going to blame it on, you know, him him meeting the wrong sort of woman or whatever, but then things in the last 5 years have just veered dramatically off.
I don't exactly blame all her. It is him. He has to take responsibility for his actions. What he does, he could say no. He chooses not to, because he's caught up in this dance of Narcissus, isn't he? Really, a lot of the time with people that are the enabler, the narcissist enabler, which he is. Boy, is he even on a more of a scale a narcissist enabler, because he did have the power and the means to enable her to be like she is, really. The sort of shrilling harpy character that we know and love. So, but he is nonetheless an enabler. And a lot of the times they do things for their own reasons to get attention. To get her attention, or the person that is narcissistically abusing them attention. It's a real dance macabre. That's what it is, darling. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's a dance macabre that we're all being invited and treated to spectate at, and it's quite tedious and somewhat icky.
He just seems so very, very isolated, which is where, as I said, I veer between getting very, very angry with him, and he's just mad, slightly deluded.
He's not like the children that never go out, never see daylight, and aren't allowed to see their cousins, aunties, uncles, grandparents, or wider family, or let alone just their quite near extended family. They're not allowed any of that. See, we should save our pity for them, that never asked to be born into this shoot show. He is 40-odd years old, and is responsible for his own actions. He's a grown-ass man.
Well, I was about to say, so you mentioned to me off air that he was almost delusional, and the more I thought about that, I think you have a point. He is so detached from reality that he believes he has a God-given right to have police protection. Now, he says, it's not my fault, I was born into this family and I've had protection all my life. And
but it was your fault that you wrote a book going on about stuff you did in Afghanistan, which is against all measures of human decency, and definitely against the measures of veterans that don't go around saying, oh, I did this and I did that. And the ones that do, people sort of side-eye them and think they're proper fannies, if you get me. So, take that either way.
I can't live without it. But you made the choice to leave this country.
Sort of de rigueur.
I mean, it's quite literally, I feel there's some awful joke in here about having your cake and having your jam and eating it or something.
Dreadful jam, very expensive jam.
Very expensive.
No, sprinkled with...
It's fruit syrup, they're not allowed to call it jam.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But yes, as you say, we were talking, I just think, there has been some kind of break from reality, break from, rationality, even by the standards of which, of course, he was born into very unique and very privileged circumstances, but even accepting that, the whole way he seems to have been going about things and looking at life in the last 5 or 6 years, I mean, it just doesn't.
Yeah, but when he went, he said, just call me Harry. I don't want to be like a prince anymore. I don't want all this. I don't want my children to have titles. I've been here, done it, bought a t-shirt on this. I don't know how many times I have to repeat myself. So, I don't know what changed. Well, we do. We all know, don't we, ladies? We know exactly what changed. Because that rhetoric was all well and good until she got what she wanted. And then, the rhetoric and the narrative starts to change somewhat. So he's had his brains well and truly fried. But I think he did quite a lot of frying his brains himself. And I absolutely refuse to give him any sympathy or empathy for the situation he's in. Being as how he's a grown-ass man. And he should be actually protecting his children and thinking of his children. Not running around in this wild goose chase, this smoke and mirrors. Oh, look at me, I'm a victim, I can't bring the children over here. Well, you were never going to bring them anyway, darling. You were supposed to have brought them on the Jubilee thing, but nobody saw them. They weren't allowed to go, even though all the other cousins were there at Buckingham Palace. The Mark clip was there doing her Audrey Hepburn, but your children were denied the right to go and play with their cousins. So save me from your faux protestations about, oh, I'm doing it for your children, the safety and everything. BS. You want to go home and start making sure your kids get out and about and see people and aren't just kept in like a load of, I don't know, they're like holy orders, nuns, aren't they, or something, living in some sort of weirded out monastery made for Marklet. Yes, it's Montecito Monastery, isn't it? Yeah, with Marklet as the mother bleeding superior. Oh, and how superior as well. The most superior of all superior ever.
Accepting that privilege and accepting the uniqueness of his life, all of the none of the decisions he's made seem to make any sense. And let's also bear in mind, you've got this other the other ongoing issue rumbling away in the background is whether or not we're actually going to know what happened with his application to go to the US.
Right.
And obviously he admitted in his book that he had taken some variety of drugs, which is obviously, you're not meant to do that if you're wanting to get into the United States, and there's various legal
there's different rules for me
machinations going on with the Heritage Foundation, which is a sort of US-based sort of think tank outfit, as to whether we're going to ever know what really happened with that application. So look, as I say, that he has a lot going on, but look, at best, he just doesn't help himself when he comes out with this stuff, which...
No, he's bonkers, he's barking mad. I think everything that can be said has been said. And apparently Charles is at the head of a conspiracy, so there you go. Not being funny, when I look at Charles, I see a man that isn't long for this world, and I know I shouldn't say that. We've all got to live in the never-never and pretend that everything's fine. It isn't fine. And, you've only got to look at him to see that. I've been around people with cancer enough to know when I see somebody that the cancer's being managed, but the outlook isn't sort of decades. Let's put it that way. In my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. So there we go. And I think we might see a sea change when and if that bad occurrence does occur, because I think we're going to have badass William, aren't we? Hopefully backed up with badass Kate. Yes, oh yes. He'll get his comeuppance then, I reckon. What do you reckon, guys? Anyway, I love you and leave you wherever you are in the world. Have a lovely afternoon, evening, morning, or good night. Love you loads. Bye.